Hey everyone! So it's been a while since I've done a Degrassi video because for a while there I felt like I was just doing them back to back to back, but I'm here to kind of finish off my top 10 blank, Degrassi or Degrassi Next Generation couples. And so this is going to be seasons 10 through 14, obviously, of Degrassi. So just letting you guys know now that I'm going to save the best-ish, or the worst, not even the best of the worst, which is number 10 for last, because I think it's gonna be a little bit controversial, so I'm gonna save it for last and just skip straight to number 9 right now, okay? So for number 9 on my top 10 worst Degrassi couples list, I have Dave and Allie, because there was something about them that just didn't really mesh well with me, like for most of their relationship. Like in the beginning, they were kind of like a cute concept, even though I liked her with Johnny. Still love her with Johnny. They were my top 10 best Degrassi couples. There was something about Dave that was kind of cute. Not like Dave was kind of cute, and he's not ugly, but something about like the idea of them, and it just, their relationship kind of really played into that nice guy trope. When he wasn't that nice of a guy, he cheated on her and all of that. Like, let's not forget that. Plus, if you think about it, he cheated on Sadie, I'm pretty sure her name was, in order to get with Allie. Like, he's just not that nice of a guy, and he definitely wasn't even close to Allie's best relationship. He was definitely, in my opinion, keyword being one of her worst relationships. Number 8 is Imogen and Jack, which are kind of an irrelevant couple, which is half the reason why they're here. They were boring as hell. But my main reason is that I kind of didn't like how they got together. And originally Jack, I'm pretty sure, was polyamorous, and she told Imogen that. But then after, like, a 2-episode arc, because all of the arcs for the most part in, seasons 10 through 14 were like 2 episodes long, since it was always like something part 1 and part 2, even though I feel like that may have ended after season 12. I feel like season 13 and 14 didn't do that, but still they might as well have, even though they had different names, because it still felt like a part 1, part 2 type of format that we'd had for the past 3 seasons. So once Imogen and Jack were like introduced, like Jack literally had those 2 episodes where she was like, oh yeah, I'm polyamorous, I'm not gonna be monogamous, and then she suddenly just was monogamous because of Imogen, and solely because she just wanted to be with Imogen. And that to me kind of was like a slap in the face. I think polyamory is a serious thing and it should be taken more serious, and Degrassi is such a good show that tells all these such forward progressive storylines, and yet they just fell flat on this one pretty badly. And number 7 is a couple I liked initially, but then as time went on, they grew to become clearly one of my least favorite couples, and that is Frankie and Winston, because like Frankie has become one of my favorite characters in Next Class, honestly. And Winston's kind of just there. He's not the best, he's not the worst. More of the times than not though, he's not the greatest. But when they first got together, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. Like I remember their first kiss like in the pool, and like Fits in the Tantrums was playing in the background. It was also cute. And the idea of it, like dating your best friend's younger sister, which is only a year younger, is not super creepy, was kind of cute. But then the execution fell flat, and they just, probably when Winston cheated. And then clearly the show kind of just stopped caring about them and wanted something else for both of these characters, specifically for Frankie, who deserved better. And Frankie herself clearly got tired of that relationship, as we saw in Don't Look Back. Number 6 is another boring, irrelevant, kind of completely forgettable couple, to the point where I don't even 100% remember why they broke up, but I'm pretty sure it was because of his religion. He's just a fuckboy, that's all it is. And that's Jenna and Luke. Jenna's best relationships on the show were hands down Casey, which is ironic because I didn't like how they started off, but I actually ended up liking them as a couple when they weren't, dealing with all the issues with Tyson. And then obviously Connor. And then Luke was like the in-between boyfriend she had, which I don't even know if they really dated. And he was just, Luke is the worst. I think that's quite agreed upon. And Jenna just, she was going through a weird transition period in time, plus clearly she needed storylines. They were like, let's put her with a new guy. And it was so weird and icky-ish feeling, and I just hate Luke. Oh my god, I hate Luke so. And then number 5 is, you're gonna notice a reoccurring theme in this video with one certain character who, if I were to make a top 10 worst Degrassi characters of all time, she'd probably be on this list, and that is Becky. Okay, Luke's twin sister, I want to say they were twins, right? Either twin or she was 1 year younger, but I'm pretty sure they were twins. Don't quote me on this. But yeah, Becky's on this list quite a bit, and number 5 is Becky and Jonah, because they were so utterly unforgettable that I kid you not, I actually genuinely don't remember why they broke up. And it just doesn't even matter. All I know is that I didn't like Becky as a character 90% of the time that she was on the show. And this initial pairing and the way Jonah was introduced made me not even really like Jonah, which is sad because come next class, he becomes such a darling character to me, even though there were times where he pissed me off because I will always be, you know, Team Frankie. But Jonah's a character who's so amazing and like just one of the best. And this pairing really just was so gross and irrelevant. Like I saw it the entire time and it was getting storylines and hype, and I was like, am I supposed to care? Like at all. And then number 4 is one of those personal, 100% personal ones. This is a me thing because this stupid couple, this stupid pairing got in the way of my favorite couple of all time in the show, and that is Jake and Claire, okay? Because I've actually, when Jake first came onto the show, I liked it because I liked that Justin Kelly and Monroe Chambers got to be reunited, and then come season 12, Demetrius joined the show as well, and it was a true like reunion. It was amazing. But that being said, poor Justin was given a character who I actually truly love because I love Jake. When he was actually not with Claire, he was one of my favorite characters on the show. Like, he's so like amazing, and I loved his other pairing on the show, Katie. Pretty sure it was on my top 10 best Degrassi couples. But this pairing specifically did not mesh well with me, and actually made me not even like Jake in the beginning, kind of like how it was with Becky and Jonah, because I just the entire time wanted to rip my eyeballs out because why were they together? And then it got even creepier once their parents got started dating, and then I'm pretty sure they got married while they were still like dating. And I'll never forget in like the season 11 B premiere when Marisol made that like comment of like, oh, aren't they like related? Like, aren't they brother and sister? And I was like, yeah, Marisol, I hate you, but like I agree with you, it's gross. Number 3 goes to another Claire pairing, and it should be obvious like who it is, because what other pairings has Claire had besides Jake and Claire, Eli and Claire, and then Drew and Claire. Drew and Claire were a complete and utter waste of time to everyone involved. A, to the people who didn't like them like me and had to suffer through this like arc of them kind of really becoming good friends, which I actually liked. I liked that they became good friends and were there for each other when we're kind of going through similar situations-ish. Because I like when characters, like when shows do that, like put two characters who almost never have interactions and never really were in each other's lives before, and then put them together through a situation and make them become really close. But then I like it when it remains as friends, you know? But of course the show had to go and make it into a relationship, as so many other shows fall to the same problem. And it was just a waste of time because they kind of spent this entire arc developing them clearly for a romantic pairing, and then completely after like one episode just dropping it in the most abrupt fashion. And I had no problem with it because I didn't want them together to begin with, but I'm sure, like, I know there were some people who probably found it cute, and that's just a complete waste of time because you put all this, like, you know, not effort, but you wasted like a lot of episodes like, oh yeah, I kind of ship this, and then it just was never mentioned or brought up again and just dropped at the like it was nothing. And I was like, okay then, that's weird. So it was just, I hated it because it was, you know, Drew and Claire getting in the way of Eli and Claire, but also because it was a genuine gigantic waste of time. I don't know if the writers intended to do something and then like it fell through, but that doesn't make any sense because all of those episodes for season 13, like for that block, were like I think filmed at the same time. So I'm really confused by that. The number 2 is following in the Becky format, and that is Becky and Drew. Because just like with Drew and Claire, they had that like bonding and like grew a friendship, but as where at least Drew and Claire were over the span of like, I think season 13B, I wanna say, or 13C. It was 13B or 13C that happened, the span of their like developing. Drew and Becky were like in the span of one episode, Thunderstruck, and it made absolutely no sense. Like, it made sense that they would bond in this really hard time where they both lost Adam and they feel this like connection because of their shared grief, and that's actually very common psychologically for like widows, which and like brothers of, you know, the deceased, to kind of bond, maybe create a connection, a special connection. And there could have even like been some underlinings of romantic stuff, like there could have been maybe some sexual tension or whatever, but they like that would have been fine in my opinion, but they didn't need to act out on it. And then they did, and then they dated, and I'm pretty sure the only reason they broke up, I remember, is because she kind of develops feelings for Jonah, which then she goes with Jonah, and I genuinely don't remember why they broke up. That's how relevant they were. But Becky and Drew were just like weird as hell. It felt gross. It didn't, like, it made sense, but at the same time it didn't make any sense, because if they were gonna do that, they should have at least planned it out like over the span of a few episodes, and not like one, am I in focus? And not in the span of like one episode they suddenly just like get feelings, because for them a lot of the time before that he was with like Zoe and then Claire, and then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, Becky, and I was like, we're really just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks, aren't we? And then finally, number 1, I don't really feel like I need to explain it much. I'm gonna save much more of my explanation for number 10. But number 1 is just Allie and Leo, because in the same in the same style of Terry and Rick, there are some couples that are just so utterly bad that you have to put them number 1, because abusive relationships will always trump like boring or irrelevant relationships. And oh my god, Allie and Leo were abusive. Like, and it kind of didn't make as much sense. Like with Terry and Rick, it was done so well, and it kind of made sense because of Terry's self-esteem issues and all of that. But oh my god, like, I know that it's a part of Allie's character to make really terrible life decisions when it comes to guys. Like, it's always been her shtick. I get it, whatever. Like, we've been there, girl. We know. But oh my god, like, why she stayed with Leo, why she wanted to be with Leo is completely beyond me. And the whole Leo thing was just creepy to begin with. Like, in general, season 13A was forgettable, to say the least. It was a good concept, but it just was not a good execution for the most part. And Leo's character introduction was like the cherry on top of why season 13A was just like, why? Like, why did we do that? And then he followed us into season 13B, and I was like, okay, this man can leave now, because he just stayed around for so long. And I was like, okay, please go, you're abusive and you're an asshole. And what is he, like 30? Like, how old was this man? I don't know, I don't remember, but he seemed older than Allie. It was just creepy. And then they like got eloped, or almost got eloped. It was just creepy, okay? And then finally, number 10, don't burn me at the stake, please. I have a friend who watches Degrassi, who watches my videos. She'll probably watch this one, and she's probably gonna murder me. Sorry, Jelamar. But number 10 for me is Becky and Adam, okay? And like, before you go on the comments and like write your opinion, which like obviously do that, but like hear me out first on why I think this. I think that the idea of Becky and Adam, like a really straight, because she is straight, Christian, you know, good girl, kind of falling like in love with and finding herself having catching feelings for this transgender man was so interesting, because you see her go through this huge like personal like dilemma of like, oh, am I gay because I like a girl? But then she's like, no, I know that I'm straight. I know I like guys. Adam is a guy. And that was like so amazing and so groundbreaking and such a beautiful story to tell, and an important one too, because Adam had never really had the best storylines with girls, so he finally got this, you know, really good one, and it was just so amazing, and everyone was so happy. I was so happy for him. But then the actual couple itself and the execution of it kind of just fell flat to me. It fell flat to me because it just didn't really ever feel like, I don't know if it was chemistry, I don't know what it was, but I never felt it. And then actual storyline wise, they were never really together for that long. They always ended up breaking up over some reason or the other. I think they only had 1 or 2 actual like relationships. And then they ended up, you know, for whatever external, you know, reasons that were going on behind the scenes. It's none of our business to know what it was, but whatever happened, you know, Jordan ended up leaving the show anyway, so then they had to kill off Adam, and then that completely 100% put the nail in the coffin and Beckham, and completely made it so I just couldn't even really ship them, because any potential they maybe could have had was gone. Because when they were together the first time, it was a short relationship, and I liked it. I like kind of liked the beginning of it, because it was her coming to terms with like, yeah, I'm religious, but I also really like Adam, and that's how it is, you know. Even though obviously they ended up breaking up, I'm pretty sure, because of her parents. So she still was facing with that dilemma, but then she chose him anyway. And then season 13A was when Adam was killed off, and they didn't even spend that like season together because she was off in Florida while he was in Degrassi still. And then he ended up kind of getting with Imogen, and then Adam died. And so we never really got to see them as a couple for much. And so I just was never really like able to connect with them. So even though I liked the idea and the like potential of Beckham, I didn't like the actual execution, honestly. And I feel like if you really take a step back and look back, like I feel like a lot of people would agree with me, I hope, because they didn't really get much, or as much as they could have, for me to really be able to ship them. And it's because of that disappointing factor that I put them as one of my worst couples, because they were a couple I was genuinely, like, I wanted to be excited for. Like, who wouldn't want to be excited for this amazing, you know, ship that's like so progressive? But I just, it just didn't stick the landing with me. But yeah, this is gonna be it for this Degrassi video, and I have no idea like what are the Degrassi videos I can do, because I could talk about Degrassi all day, but like I don't know what people actually want to see. So if you guys, or anyone watches this video, like the 5 people who watch this video, like please like tell me what you guys would like to see in terms of Degrassi videos, because I can definitely do more if you want more Degrassi themed videos. Like I can literally talk about so many topics. Like I can talk about plot, I can talk about like seasons, I can like, you know, rate the seasons, like whatever you guys want, just let me know. But that's gonna be it for this video.